discuss about a bit of a pet hate for me. I read an article. I subscribe to this magazine, which is, if you can see that, it's .NET magazine, which is in the UK here, and this is the voice of web design. It says, I used to subscribe to this years ago, but I've done it again. And one article in this one of the latest magazines is about something called New Old Tech, and that's there. Okay, so what it is something called, as progress continues to accelerate, Sush Kelly, somebody called Sush Kelly, warns of the dangers of being seduced by every next big thing. This is something I said to SitePoint a little while ago about all the things, libraries and stuff that they're doing for JavaScript. And if you just look at libraries for JavaScript, and you come up with loads of them, 40 useful JavaScript libraries. That's by Smashing Magazines. 5 JavaScript libraries you'll love. And I found something else about, I think it was from Web Designer Depot, which I got an email from saying about 12 JavaScript libraries for 2017. It does my nut, and it really does. Why would you need all them libraries? And like, sort of when in this magazine, when it's on about New Old Tech, it goes on to say about this chap has been doing web design since 2000, which is a little bit like me. So you see, he actually goes on to say in part of that at the bottom there. It says, I've been working in websites since the year 2000, which means I cut my teeth. Long forgotten techniques such as tables and shems, all against the backdrop of browser wars that make the current browser situation seem so compatible by contrast. I certainly know what that means. Back then, when we were doing JavaScript, there was only really 2 browsers, which was Netscape and Internet Explorer. And you used to have to do things. So you used to have to do things like user agent app thing. I can't even remember. It's that long ago. But now we treat it very easily in comparison. However, it does go on to say in this article, if you start using all the new libraries and everything like that, I'm gonna get this Facebook message off. If you keep doing that actually on the job, you don't know what you're dealing with. So it's not good planning. You don't know if you're doing for a client or something like that. You need to have tested, proven methods. People are still using old browsers. They're still using old Windows, and you need things that's going to work across all browsers. And as much as that can be difficult, it's a necessity. The thing is that what do you really need when it comes to web design? And if you just want to be a web designer, on this channel, there's a lot of different people probably want a lot of different, reasons of what they're going to do. But if you want to be a web designer, you need to learn HTML and you need to learn CSS, and that would really do. The thing is if you want to become a front-end developer, as it's now called, which didn't used to be, you have to learn JavaScript as well. And when it comes to all these libraries, there's not really a lot of things that JavaScript itself can't do. There's I'm just clicking on this 40 useful JavaScript libraries. That's not coming up. And like, sort of, you do need JavaScript, but I think you need pure JavaScript. Then once you've learned pure JavaScript, then you can go to jQuery or something like that. If you want to be what's called a full stack web developer, now whatever that means, It could mean a lot of different things. But if you want to be a front end, back end developer, you need to know PHP. And PHP, if you want to work in a career for an agency or something like that, I would say learn HTML, CSS, and PHP. PHP is far more important than JavaScript if you want to learn in an environment of agency work. If you want to freelance, like I've done, you need to know JavaScript. There's not really a lot of JavaScript cannot do. It was never developed as one thing it can't do really very well, or it never used to be able to do, was animation. But it was never meant as an animation tool. Now you have different libraries. jQuery can do animation better than normal JavaScript. Yes, it can. So can probably other libraries as well. But the thing is, now we have CSS3, and you can do animations on that as well. And CSS itself wasn't meant as an animation tool in the beginning. It was meant as to fancy up your website. So these things have to be taken. If you're going to learn a new technology, make sure you're going to like sort of not waste your time on doing it. If you just want to be a graphic designer, just learn HTML, maybe CSS, and something like Bootstrap Studio. But the thing is that, you know, you got on the screen, you got 40 useful JavaScript libraries, and it just isn't my thing. You know, there's certain things that you cannot learn everything. So I would just say that learn the basics and then see where that takes you. But you've got to learn, if you want to do JavaScript, learn the proper JavaScript, learn it pure, and then maybe something like jQuery. That's not to say that you should be a dinosaur like me, because I am a bit. I think you know, like I'm stuck in probably old JavaScript writing. Sometimes I do, but I do buy books and take a few courses. I know CSS animations, and I know CSS probably is my favourite language really. But I think CSS3 is a very good tool. It's definitely worth learning. But you know, it's what you want to do. If you want to, you know, in the comments below, just disagree with us if you want, and make sure you have a good reason. I'm open to you know, I'm open to everybody's opinion on this type of thing, but to me, it's just going over the top. In the first paragraph on here, it mentions it's. If anybody wants to read this online, it's on page 27, because they'll have it online, and it's from issue 292. And this is an interesting thing. I think I've mentioned on here before that I've read a Rachel Andrew book about CSS, and I do respect all her work, but it says people that champion the new approaches that are about to change the way we work once again. For example, Flexbox, which you may have heard of, especially those that's development at this time. It's already available in CSS Grid. Rachel Andrew and Jen Simmons have been encouraging developers to look at the new technologies now in readiness for their arrival. There have been murmurings and posts in recent months from some of the current web industry founders, such as Andy Clark and Jeffrey Zeldman, many of you would have heard of him, asking if it really needs to be this complicated and whether web is losing its soul and becoming reliant on a standard output. Have we all become enslaved to frameworks and tools available to us? Yeah, we have. And, you know, I think that I'm totally for responsive design now. These days I am. But actually in 2013, when it was really starting to take off, I did my own survey on that. And I got people, I did a Facebook poll of all my friends and how they use their, because I was never into touchscreen mobile devices. I was like BlackBerry style things. But I did a survey on there, and they proved that, you know, like responsive design is, I think it was about 72%, prove that this is the way they want to work. And so I took it on board, and I've done responsive web design since then. Also, I'm always trying to learn different things. New things that was never about before was UX designer. I can call myself a UX designer, and it means nothing. It's like, I mean, anybody can call themselves a UX designer. What's that about? You know, when I say UX designer and I go to their websites and I think, gee, man, you got to be kidding. But anyway, these are just my opinions on the way things are going. I'd love to hear from you. Just disagree if that's fine. I've got broad shoulders and I can take it. Okay, so thanks a lot.